Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So today's video, very excited because I'm going to be going over something I picked up in the Sephora sale, and that is these Sephora blushes. I picked up 5 shades. I've never tried them. I had heard really good things about them, and then my understanding is that these are reformulated. So they're reformulated and they're coming out with contour, bronzer, and highlight as well, but those haven't been reformulated yet. They haven't come out, but these came out pretty much the day of the sale. I think the first day of the sale or around the beginning of the sale. And I did pick up, I picked up 1 or 2 items that for in the Sephora sale because I only get 15% off. However, a subscriber was gracious enough to send me a 20% promo code. So I used that and I did buy a couple items. And thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate it because I am only VIB, so I only get 15% off. But I did purchase quite a few of the Sephora collections because the Sephora collection is 30% off for everybody. And I picked up the foundation, the concealer, which I have not used yet, and then I also picked up these blushes. So I actually originally only picked up 1 shade, and I picked up Charmed, which is 27, and I just loved it so much that I ended up the last day of the sale I picked up 4 more. So going to try them again because I haven't seen any videos on them. I've seen videos on the old formula and the old formulation and the old colors. Some of the colors are the same, some of the colors have changed, but I haven't seen any new videos. So I figured I would do a video on at least the 5 shades. I think there's 14 blush shades, but I picked up 5. 4 of them are shimmer, 1 of them is matte. When I purchased them, they didn't have it. It was just kind of all the names together. It didn't say which is shimmer and which is matte. They have since changed that, thank goodness. So I didn't know. I kind of could figure out from the colors, from the pictures, which one was shimmer and which was a matte, but it didn't say it. So these came out with a 30% under $10. I love the size of them. They're very compact. I have 5 and they take up, very little space. So really easy to store. So I like that. And I got a variety of shades. So I've tried a couple of them, but I haven't tried them all. So that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, so just reading from the website, it says an intensely pigmented blush with a superfine texture. The coverage is medium. It's a pressed powder. It is vegan. And then thanks to its superfine texture, this buildable blush delivers powerful color with just 1 swipe. It comes in a variety of vibrant shades with both matte and shimmer finishes to instantly awaken all skin tones. And I wore one of them yesterday and it lasted all day. Now I wore the matte one, so that one, it lasted all day, and I was really impressed with the longevity of it. So, and I have tried the 1 shimmer, which is the reason why I purchased the other ones, and I really liked it, but I didn't do like a test run. I just kind of tried it, really liked it, loved the quality, swatched it. So let me talk to you about the shades that I got. So first up, I got the 1 matte shade I got is called Flirt It Up, and it is number 6. So that is Flirt It Up. Next shade is Colorful Spirit, and it is number 48, so Colorful Spirit. It's a shimmer. The rest are shimmers. Okay, next up is Heated, number 16. Next is Passionate, which is 23. This was one of the most popular shades in the original formula, so 23 Passionate. And then finally, the last one is 27 Charmed, and this is the one that I purchased originally that convinced me to buy the other one. So those are the 5 shades that I purchased. Okay, so before we start, playing around when putting them on, let's go ahead and do the swatches. So again, I'm going to start with the 1 matte shade first that I have. This is number 6, Flirt It Up, and it is described as an intense strawberry. So there you have it, and it has the embossing, really pretty. This is a really pretty pink. And again, it's described as an intense strawberry. Next, we're going to move on to the shimmers, and this is number 16, Heated. This is described as a deep mauve rose, really pretty. This one reminds me of, I think one of the ones in the Nars palette. Next, we have number 23, which is Passionate, which is described as a deep bronze coral. Number 27 is Charmed, which is a spiced copper. So we'll compare it. I'm wondering if it's very similar. It's similar, but it's got enough of a difference. And then finally, this is number 48, Free Spirit, which is described as a peachy pink. And this to me looks like a Nars Orgasm dupe. So these are the 5 shades, and considering that I couldn't, they weren't in store yet, you could only get them online, I thought I did pretty good with the colors. I thought I got enough of a versatile selection of shades that I think are going to be flattering. We'll see how they look, but I think I got enough variety here. Okay, so I pulled out my Nars Orgasm. I guess this is the Foreplay palette, and I love these 3 blushes. I use this palette a ton, and I feel like I picked 3 shades that are dupes for all 3. So I'm gonna pull that out and see and do some. I know I didn't try to do that. However, these are like 3 shades that I love. So I'm curious to see if kind of these are dupes. Obviously this palette, you get the highlighter, so it probably kind of comes out to the same price because you're getting 4. But if you only wanted 1 shade, then it would be, maybe worthwhile if there's a dupe. So this is the original Nars Orgasm. And then here's the Sephora 48 Free Spirit. So not as intense, not as pigmented, but pretty close. I think you're gonna get a similar look. Next up is the Nars Orgasm X. And this is the Sephora 16 Heated. Yeah, I think it's, again, similar. Not dupes, but similar. And then finally, this is the Orgasm Rush, which is, I think, a specialty shade for this palette. And this is the 23 Passionate. And then this is the Spiced Copper. So I think the Passion is pretty, maybe not as dark, which is probably not a bad thing either. So again, those, I actually picked out similar shades, which makes sense because these are shades that I gravitate towards. So not dupes, but pretty close in color. If you didn't want to spend the money, or maybe you just wanted 1 shade, you could probably get a similar look with one of the ones from Sephora. Okay, so we're gonna start with the one matte shade that I have, which is number 6, Flirt It Up, and just going to take it on my brush here and just apply it onto the cheek and see how it goes. Like, see how it applies. I actually, this is the one I wore yesterday and I really, really liked it. Applied really, really well. It builds up really, really well, and I think it looks really pretty. So again, this is don't have anything. A lot of times when I want blushes to last, I will layer them with a cream blush or a liquid blush. Not doing that today, and I didn't do that yesterday, and it lasted pretty well. So this is number 6, Flirt It Up. Really pretty. And we'll move to the other side with number 16, Heated. So I'm trying to do similar shades. So Heated is, I guess, more of a pink, but it's also, or a mauve, I guess, but it is got a shimmer. So you can kind of we'll be able to do a side by side of the matte and the shimmer. So the shimmers aren't very intense. They're nice. They're not too intense. Definitely not as intense as, let's say, the Nars, which some people may like and some people may not. It just depends on what you like. So I don't think it's got that much shimmer, but it's got a subtle shimmer. But this is number 16, Heated. So you can compare here. This is Heated. This is the one with the shimmer. And then this is Flirt It Up. And this is a matte. So that's the difference there. And I think they're both really pretty. Okay, next up, we're going to go with number 23, Passionate. And again, just applying it with the same brush. It kind of just applies really well. And these are probably, this was when I looked this up and was trying to decide which shades to buy. This was a shade that in the old formula everybody really liked. So there were no reviews as far as dating with that I could tell from the new formula, but this was a very popular shade for the old formula, and this is 23 Passionate. And next up is 27 Charmed. And again, this is the copper one. And again, this was the one that I bought first. So I just loved it so much. Loved how it swatched and love how it looked on my skin that I ended up buying more. So they seem a little similar, but I think they're different enough. I'm curious to see a side-by-side comparison though. So this is 20. Okay, so my battery ran out, I think, when I was applying. So this is 27 Charmed, and this is 23 Passionate. So there's the side-by-side comparison. Now these are both shimmers, similar shades, but that is the side. I think this one is like more of a coral, a deep bronze coral, and this is a copper. Okay, and finally we're gonna go with, on both cheeks, we're gonna do 48, which is Free Spirit. This is the one that I said is like an orgasm, Nars orgasm dupe. So just gonna apply it to this cheek first, and then I will go in and apply it on both cheeks. But I love the orgasm blush. That's what I wore on my wedding day, and I've had it various times in my collection, and I have it now in that palette. So to have it in this size as well is great. Obviously not the same, but similar version, and also a lot cheaper because I got it for less than $10. So there you have it. That is the Free Spirit colorful blush from Sephora. Okay, so that is it. That is a quick video on these Sephora colorful blush, the new reformulated versions. I think they're great. It's not really a full review, kind of more of a first impressions, and also wanted to give some swatches and some colors because I just couldn't find any of that on the internet. So, and especially on YouTube. So I wanted to do that to get, so if you are interested in getting the blushes, that you have at least some comparisons as far as some of the shades. So I think they're great. Sephora collection goes on sale all the time. So if you wanted to pick up like one or two now, great, you know, get it at $14 is still a great price, and I think it's a really good blush. But you know that twice a year the Sephora collection is going to be 30% off. That's what happens every sale. I think the next sale is in November, so it's going to be a while. But usually there's another sale where they'll have the Sephora collection go 30% off again, sometime in the summer. Not guaranteed. You just know that the semi-annual sale, it's going to go on sale, so it's going to be 30% off. So I would try and wait for one of those sales if you can, but if you wanted to pick up one of these shades, you know, it's still $14 is really a great price. So always great. I think they're great. Again, I love the size of them. I love compact, as beautiful as the Pat McGrath, you know, blushes are. They're bulky, and I ended up decluttering all the single blushes just because they took up so much room. I have the one palette that has like 4 blushes, and that's all I need. So I love that. I don't mind having single blushes when they take up, you know, very little space. So I really like the size of these, and they're very good. So I'm curious to try more of them. You know, I have 5 shades, and they're different enough, but they're definitely stuff that I have in my collection already. But I think also if you wanted to like maybe dupe some of the Nars, I think they, you know, it is, if you wanted to try the Orgasm or Orgasm X, but you know, didn't want to spend that price, you could probably get a similar shade in one of these. So I think they're great, worth picking up even at $14. But if you can wait for the next Sephora sale, they're great. I think my favorite still is 27 Charmed. I think that's probably my favorite, but there's none that here I don't like. I will say there was a couple shades that I was reading that were very pale, and I passed on those. They looked pretty on the computer, but they just looked like they weren't going to have a lot of pigment. So I ended up passing on those. Maybe I'll go in store and look at them, but I don't really like a very pale blush. So some of them the pale ones I would be hesitant to buy online. I would go in store and try it out because they look really pale, and I know with the reviews for the former formula, some of them were very, very pale. So that's the only thing I would, you know, be cautious about. But the 5 shades that I got, I think are all great. You saw how it applied really well. And you know, like I said, as far as the matte one, it lasted all day. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.